stops us in our tracks. Bravely we prove in our striving, trudging together each day. Where there's a will, there's a way.
Don't take away my sunshine. Nope. Don't you take away my sunshine. 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 Shine on. I'm just saying words. Word to your mother. Looks like we're going to be in the 12 by 12. This is actually yesterday's reading. I didn't use it yesterday, but I'm going to use it today because it was a good reading. And actually, it looks like we're going to be in the big book, page 129. That's where we're going to be. I don't know why. I've got like 5 big books right up the stairs. I don't know why I haven't grabbed one yet. Because I sponsor people with this big book, and it's already getting wore out. I'm gonna have to duct tape the thing soon. Duct tape, whack, 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 whack. Duct tape. Where's my duct tape? Where is my duct tape? There it is. I currently have black duct tape. I used to have all different colors of duct tape. Hey Sam, good to see you. I hope you're doing well. I used to have different colored duct tape because we used to make boffer weapons for live action role play. And depending on the color of your weapon depended on how much damage it did, whether there was fire attached to it or ice or yeah. I'm sure you're just like, oh yeah, Dion, we want to know all about your live action role playing days. I even wrote a book called Lore Legends and Magic. Made a player's handbook, created a whole system. Yeah, it was pretty good. That was 30 years ago, but that was the first book I wrote. Getting ready to put out another book. In fact, Sam, I think I'm going to send it to you. I'll give you a free copy. Just for being on the show, you can receive a free copy of like an idiot just saying that. Welcome to the Daily Trudge. I'm Dion. If you can't quite see my shirt, it's Punisher. If you're here, please say hello, whether watching the live or the rewatch. Great stuff. Speaking of shirts will be available again here in the next few months. Once that money comes in. Once the money comes in, we're going to go get some more shirts. We're probably going to have different colors. Welcome, Varsity Dubs. Good to have you. What was my handle in LARP? I don't quite understand what you mean by handle. So, but I am happy to answer the question. I just don't know what you mean by handle. The game I ran was called Lore Legends and Magic. As for my handle, I'm not sure what you mean. You mean my character name? Because I had a lot of different characters. My favorite character was Relic. It was spelled R-E-L-L-I-K. If you spell it, but he was an assassin. If you spell that backwards, it's killer. So, I had a lot of stuff in live action role play. All right. So I'm gonna do the reflections first. Because it's the part that I really liked. And then we're going to be doing some reading out of the family afterward. Giving back, he has struck something better than gold. He may not see at once that he has barely scratched a limitless load, which will pay dividends only if he mines it for the rest of his life and insists on giving away the entire product. Now, doesn't it sound weird that Hi, Neil. My name online. I do not have, um, I don't do LARPing anymore. So, um, but when I did do it, I went by Athos. The last time I did any LARPing online, it was AOL. It's been a long time. LARPing ruined my first marriage. So I don't play anymore because I get too caught up in it. I get too caught up in it. So, but I don't do any more LARPing online. Not only that, but a lot of people in that industry don't like me because I did some stupid shit. Anyway, while I was sober. So, if he insists on mining it the rest of his life and giving away the whole product, man. Now, does that mean that you're going to be left as the whole on it? No, it's the dividends. It's the dividends. That's where we get paid back for doing what we're doing. What are some of the dividends? Happiness. Emotions are dividends. Gratitude is going to be probably the biggest. Gratitude will be the biggest one that you have. So you can do gratitude one of two ways. You can either write a gratitude list, and you can be happy for the roof over your. And there's nothing wrong with it either. I just prefer a different way. You can write about the things that you're grateful for in your life. What a great way to start your day, with a gratitude list, with a positive mind. Because I don't know about anybody else, but when the first thing I wake up in the morning, my brain is fighting. It just fights. All right. And so I go to God first now, or you can get the dividends from gratitude by helping another person. That's real gratitude to me. Right. But it's hard for me to be grateful for. I know now I'm probably going to sound ungrateful. I don't write down, I'm grateful that I have a roof over my head, that I have food, that I have a parachute. It's hard for Dion to be grateful for things that he has that other people don't have that need to be a necessity in life. I find that very prideful. But that's for me. You may not feel that way. So it may turn out different for you. So I'm just giving you different ways that you can utilize gratitude. I do know this. When it comes to those deep emotions that are keeping you down, such as self-pity, depression, those types of things, the one and only answer is to go help somebody. Right? A gratitude list is not going to make your life better in that case. The last thing you should talk about when you're in self-pity is you. Right? But we hit a limitless load. That means everybody gets to be a part of. See, I believe in recovery equity. That's what I believe in. Right? That means, let's say I'm running a treatment center. Right? Doesn't matter if you come from Skid Row. Doesn't matter if you have $1 million in the bank. It's going to be the same for you because see, alcoholism doesn't change based on money. That's not how it works. Right? That is recovery equity. Everybody gets the same shot. Right? And I know. Oh, recovery is different. It is, but it isn't. Well, there's so many recovery paths now. You might even hear this saying, I support multiple paths to recovery. There's nothing to support there, and I'll tell you why. It's real quick. Okay. Now you might think, and I thought this when I first heard it, and I'm like, that just doesn't quite make sense. So I did some more investigating. Hey, Claire, good afternoon. Good to see you. Right. So you might think that the multiple pathways are, AA, NA, that there's 1,000 different ways. Okay. First of all, 1,000 different ways is too many. That's too many. You're never going to be able to figure out what way is best when there's 1,000 different ways. There's 5 or 6. Okay. And recovery coaches were, and see, they thought they were saying the right thing because they were taught that. And that's where the part in this whole gets dangerous. Okay. Multiple pathways to recovery are judges, lawyers, doctors, interventionists. It is the reason that you quit drinking. It is the consequences that made you quit drinking. That is the multiple pathways to recovery, not where you end up. Okay. Now, people don't say it as much anymore because we started to figure out that, well, they were full of it. All right. It isn't about giving, it's when and how to give. I'm very, very leery around people that say I'm Dion and I'm a person in long-term recovery. I get leery around that because your concept of time and my concept of time are different. And there's clinical, and even in AA and these places that do it right, you know what long-term sobriety is? 10 plus years. That is long-term sobriety. I am at 9 years. I do not have long-term sobriety yet. I don't. Now, that is opinion, but that opinion is based off 30 years of working in this field, of 30 years of doing the work. Well, I think I have that number off. I think I'm thinking of something else. I apologize. I make mistakes here. It's closer to 22, 23. All right. So apologize about that. I don't know what I was saying. Oh, it's because I was talking about LARPing earlier. And I did put that, and I did write that 30 years ago. That's why. Okay. I'm glad we corrected that. See, it's okay to be wrong. So in my 20 plus years, that's kind of what I've seen. Right. But I really like what this person says. My part of the seventh tradition means so much more than just giving money to pay for the coffee. Right. It means, and they're talking about seventh tradition, but that's not the part that I want to get to. Okay. I found out that AA's current GSO's current prudent reserve is $20 million. That is way too fucking much. Alcoholics Anonymous has way too much money right now. Way too much. And from what I think, $20 million in reserve. Okay. So the question would be then, why in the fuck are the meetings so low attended at the moment? Something's going on. Okay. And I'm not going to let it affect grassroots. If I need to press the reset button on AA around here, I will fucking do it. I will do it. I found out that the plain English big book was not voted on. I was wondering because I never got to vote. My vote was going to be emphatically no. No, they went around something. They did it the wrong way. All right. I'll have to ask my friend Monty. So those are a couple of things that I found out. We don't need a bunch of money in AA. Recovery doesn't need a ton of money. That's the point. Recovery is about community. Does it require some money? Yes. We like to have our coffee. You know, I had some donuts maybe. But we utilize money quite often in order to help other people. We have to pay rent. We have to make the Zoom payment. We buy chips. We buy literature. We do all sorts of things. But none of it costs a ton of money. When we put on the conventions, okay, that is usually prepaid, but then you pay to go to it. So it evens out. Sam says, I've heard you bring up the plain English big book a lot. What is that exactly? That's a great question, Sam. And thank you for asking it because I tend to forget that not everybody, like there's some things I know that you don't know. So I apologize if I was talking over anybody's head or did anything like that. The plain English big book is they took the first 164 pages and they put it into today's language because people are saying there's a lot of words in here that they don't understand. Okay. Now, when I first started coming to AA, there were two books sitting on the table. One was blue, and that was the big book. The other one was red. And on the front, it said Merriam-Webster. Some of you will know that as a dictionary. And we took the time to look up those words. And I still do it here every now and again. Okay? I still do it. All right? But it doesn't have the same feeling. It doesn't have the same effect. I don't think it does. I think people just wanted, personally, I see it as an appeasement to laziness. Okay. And you don't even have to pick up a dictionary and flip through all the pages. You can literally ask Google what it is now. It is so easy to do. But if you refuse to continue to educate yourself and get more knowledge in the program, you will go stagnant. It is a learning process. There have been times when I remember when I was in the Phoenix concept, and that was a halfway house for homeless alcoholics. Sometimes people came in, they didn't know how to read at all. And we would teach them how to read. Stop with the laziness. So I don't think I did a fair job of describing the plain English big book. The best description I can give you is that the way I see it is the big book's already written in plain English. Actually, it's written in proper English. But we want these slangs. We want these, what you need to talk the way that we talk. See, this is just all appeasement. And part of what we do is sacrifice here. We sacrifice what we think it is that we want for the good of the whole, whether that be AA or your own community circle. Okay? But the opposite of addiction is fellowship. It is community. Always. It will not change. You cannot do this alone. I have never met anyone who won in single-handed combat against alcoholism and solved their drink problem and had long-term lasting recovery. Not sobriety, recovery. So it means being accepted for myself by belonging to a group. For the first time, I can be responsible because I have a choice. I can learn the principles of working out the problems in my daily life by getting involved in the business of AA. All right. What's the business of AA? So usually each group, like today, grassroots, we have what's called a group conscience. Right? That is the business portion of it. We talk what's usually the biggest topic in a group conscience? Money. How are we going to spend the money? Where does it need to be put to here? Where does it need to be put to there? Okay. We carry a prudent reserve. And that prudent reserve is $175, which equals 1 year of Zoom. Right? Otherwise, everything else is going to be kind of spent. Claire says, good idea to use a dictionary. Anyway, this alcoholic had definitions that were incorrect. You know what, Claire, I agree with you. I still get them wrong. Now, I'm a big book thumper. You know I seem very educated. I never went to high school. I didn't even attend high school. So, but you can't be lazy, man. We've got to create more neural pathways because we destroyed our other ones. I can give back to AA what AA gave to me. Okay. So if maybe you're not in AA, maybe you went a different route. Well, then what you're going to do is give back to what it is that helped you out, right? Yeah. See, it still works. AA is not the only way. There's 5 or 6 different pathways. But I'm going to tell you right now, every single one of those pathways, you do the work. It's the only process that we have found after thousands and thousands and thousands of years. Now, the other problem with the plain English big book is this. Number one, the big book was divinely inspired. The plain English big book was pushed. It was pushed upon us. Okay. So that's one other thing. This is Jack. He's my orange kitty. If you have multiple kitties, you always have to have one orange one to kind of keep things adventurous in the house. Huh. But you're a good kitty, huh? You are your good kitty. Yes, Jack. Okay. Go pick on your brothers or something. And you're getting fat, dude. Yeah, fat. All right. Giving back to AA not only ensures my own sobriety, but allows me to buy insurance that AA will be here for my grandchildren. And that's what we're going after. That's what I'm doing. That's what you're doing. You are planting trees in which you will never be able to sit in the shade. But you got to sit in the shade because somebody came before you and planted a tree. Oh, I was going to add on to the other thing. Why people today think that they are smarter than people 100 years ago is beyond me. Okay? The fact that we have to put warnings on like Tide Pods, don't eat this, that we have to put things on cups that says coffee is hot. Okay? No. Common sense is not better. In fact, common sense is worse than it was than in the 80s. It's actually gotten worse. Okay? But we tend to think that we are smarter than people 90 years ago. No, we are not. Absolutely, we are not. No. How long have how long has okay, how long have humans been on Earth? 300,000 years. And you think in 90 years that that humans evolution doesn't work that fast. You're watching too much TV, you're watching too much Marvel and Star Wars and shit. And I watch all that stuff, but I understand the difference. We think we're smarter, and that is part of the problem. We are not. There is nothing in this book that is out of date. Nothing. God forbid you have to look something up. Right? So partly why I do what I do is because this program, I believe that this disease is carried on through generation. Okay. So therefore, I want AA to be around for my grandchildren. And I'm going to be very selfish about that. I am very selfish about it. Okay. And I do that by paying it forward by sharing what it is that I've experienced. And I know a little bit. I wouldn't call me an expert. At the same time, I am. Right. I'm only an expert to the point where it doesn't go to my head. That I'm willing to do that. I've done a lot of great. I just got off with a sponsee, and we've been working together for a couple years, and he's very aware with what I do. He's been a part of it, and I've had some great successes in the last couple of weeks. And I'll give you one, just to kind of give you an idea that we can do things, but I don't need to take credit for it. The Behavioral Health Administration website, I got them to change their website. I did. I'll run around talking about it. So what? It needed to be done. Do you think I did not get dividends from that? Sure, I did. What were the dividends? Thank you, God. Thank you, God. God knows. And since God knows, something will come around to me for it. Sure it will. Maybe it already has. What I'd like is that big chunk of money. I finally actually yelled at him about that yesterday. All right. I don't think I'm going to do the big book because it's going to be way off what we were talking about. So I think I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up on this one. I needed a little break from what I was doing because I'm figuring out how to publish a book, how to self-publish a book, whether I charge for it, how to let people set up appointments to meet with me, and doing it through Calendly and matching it to, it starts to get a little overwhelming. So, Claire says my sponsor called it Clara's Dictionary. I didn't see that one until now. Even though you wrote it like 6 minutes ago. Sorry about that. Oh, all right. Well, this has been an interesting talk. Been interesting. So, all right. Thank you all for being here. I appreciate it. It's good to see somebody. Neil, it's good to see you again, man. Sam, Good to see you. Thank you for being on the show. Claire, always good to see you. I love y'all. You know I do. Peace out.